Gang, what is up? Riding home on a beautiful Sunday afternoon. Just went and got some brunch out at the Cape in Titusville with my dad. Now, heading home to try to pretend that I don't have to go back to work tomorrow. Although my job isn't the worst, to be honest. I don't mind doing it in the way that I've minded how I was doing several jobs in my life. So, no, things are good. It's good. But I wanted to make a video today to talk about kind of a big deal going on in the old Indian community. If you ride a Challenger, a Chieftain, a Roadmaster, any of the Indian motorcycles that have a power windscreen as such, then this affects you. Polaris has declared a service bulletin for the windshield gears on all of these bikes with power windshields. If you're familiar with the issue, I mean, if you've been riding a Challenger for any length of time, you probably know about it. But essentially, these are all power windscreens that are controlled by a worm drive. You have a metal, threaded bar with a plastic box that attaches to the windscreen, threaded on that metal thread. As the bar spins, it pushes the screen up and down, easy as you please. What happens is that, again, the one that Polaris used, the box that's attached to the windscreen, it's a little plastic box that's got threads on it. And it's a metal drive bar. So what happens is if you get any debris on the threads of that drive bar and that box binds up at all, it just strips the threads right out of the box. This happens to a lot of people in rainstorms when there's debris in the rain and whatnot, stuff blowing around on long trips where you're riding across gravel roads and stuff. It's pretty common. Previously, there was a couple ways you could handle this. The arguably easy or free way was to take it to an Indian dealership and hope you could get Polaris to cover it on warranty. Now, a lot of people were getting them covered on warranty, no problem. Polaris was looking at it as a design flaw, and they were fixing them, but they were putting the same exact part back in the bike, right? Like, they would just swap it for the same, for a new one. And so it was probably only a matter of time before it happened again, and it was a bit of an arduous process, because if you've ever gotten warranty work done at a dealer, you know what I'm talking about. It takes forever, because the dealer has to tear it apart, has to diagnose it, has to send it to the manufacturer for approval. Polaris has to say, oh yeah, we think this is, a manufacturing flaw. Here, we'll fix it. Here's the new part. And they got to wait for the new part to come in, then they got to swap it. So, a job that takes a couple hours to do probably has your bike waylaid for, almost a month. The other alternative way to fix it, if you're like me and you prefer to do things yourself, and even if it's free, don't want to deal with the dealer bullshit, you could get a aluminum, or I think it's steel part, a metal box, done by a member of the Indian community, Steve Kovacs, who runs a site called Mystic Fire Cycles. I'll link it below. But he actually CNC'd an entirely metal version of the plastic box. He sells them for $100, and it is a little bit of a task. You got to take the front of your fairing apart, tear down the front of the bike a little bit to get to the worm drive, and then you got to take the worm drive out, disassemble it, and install his box. The dealer, when they were doing the fixes, they were changing the entire assembly. When you do Steve's fix, you only need you just change that one little box out. Everything else is the same stuff. Most of the people that use his fix have never had an issue afterward. So, for $100, you can get a permanent fix. You can do it yourself, and you can fix it in a few hours instead of giving your bike away to the dealership for, God knows what time to, hope they get it fixed for free. Now, the dealer option has been made a little bit more attractive because Indian has issued a service bulletin. Now, it's not a recall. So, in the case of a recall, the company is saying, this is something that's physically dangerous. It's a safety concern. And anybody that owns one of these bikes can come in and get it fixed, no questions asked. A service bulletin's a little different. They're saying, we know this is a problem, we know it's a design flaw, but we're only going to fix it if it fails because it's not a safety concern. I'd argue perhaps it kind of is, but be that as it may, Indian has declared it a service bulletin. The good news is that means even if you're not in, if you have a Challenger and you're one of the few people that have had your bike long enough, you're out of warranty, or if you were unsure if your dealer was going to play ball or try to fight you on it. It is now, if you go in your Indian Ride Command app or you look on the website under your bike's VIN, you can see a service bulletin for your bike. Dealer can't fight you on it. So now you can get it replaced for free, and it should be a faster process. I actually did ask my local dealer, what it would take to get it done for free. Mine actually broke when I was on the trip that I just went on, the 6,000-mile epic road trip I just took with my dad, which I will probably be sharing some footage of here shortly. But mine broke on the trip, and so I questioned my local dealer as to what the turnaround time would be if I wanted them to fix it, and they told me it could take up to 2 weeks because they would still have to tear it apart and order the part. It still could take a couple weeks to get it fixed, but it's definitely going to get fixed for free now. The dealer would have a very hard time denying it. You actually will have a service bulletin tied to your bike, and if you have a new Challenger, you're going to be eligible. So if you have found this video because you searched for Indian Challenger windshield problems and this pops up, take heart. You definitely can get it fixed for free, most likely under the service bulletin. Or if you don't want to deal with that bullshit now, the other addendum to the fact that there's a service bulletin now is that for the 2023s, Indian has redesigned the part. It is no longer it's still a plastic box, but it's no longer entirely plastic. It is now a plastic box with a brass sleeve in it. Hopefully that brass sleeve stands up a little better than the plastic threads did. The idea being, and that's half the reason I think that they finally declared it a service bulletin, is because they now have a part. They're not just throwing the same old part back at it again and having it break again and again. Now there's a new redesigned part that's supposed to be sturdier. I still think having the box made entirely of metal is probably better than having a plastic with a brass sleeve. There's a few other parts on this bike that are plastic with brass sleeves, and they're known for stripping. So we'll see how well these new parts stand up. But a free fix is a free fix. Some people don't have a shop to tear their bike down and don't want to spend $100 extra for no reason when they can get it replaced for free. So the dealer's an option. So, those are your two options if your windshield gear is broken. Now you can take it to the dealer as a service bulletin, or you could still buy Steve Kovac's part and fix it yourself. But I thought it was worth noting that it is a service bulletin now. It should be a lot easier to get fixed for free. I have heard of some lucky folks, during the Sturgis rally, were actually able to get their windshield fixed, by the Indian dealer in Sturgis for free, while they sat there. Again, my dealer told me 2 weeks, but 2 weeks is still not the end of the world for a lot of people. I ride my bike every day. It's my main form of transportation, so it was too long for me. I did the Kovac fix. I do have a all metal box in my windshield now, and you can see my windshield works beautifully. So that was the route I took with it. But just because, again, DUI and all things, or excuse me, DIY and all things, and I have the resources to do it. But if you don't, check out the service bulletin. You can probably look it up your VIN on the Indian site. Either way, get your windshield fixed. Don't drive around with a broken windshield. Then you're like a Harley, and that is just not something I want to wish for you. But with that said, keep your heads up, boys. Enjoy this footage I'm about to share, and catch you on the flip side.